All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today is Friday 27th. Um, yesterday, yesterday I had a doctor appointment finally to find out what's going on with the with my treatments because I've been having issues with getting approved for chemotherapy. I've been off chemotherapy and radiation since September. So October, November, December. We're almost in January. It's almost 3 months. So finally, we get an appointment with the doctor and get in there. And well, it turns out that they are the insurance company and the pharmacy companies are denying my chemo because they're pretty much they feel that I've reached the end of the treatments. Um, like they told my doctor, yes, my doctor told me yesterday that they told her, why haven't you considered putting him on hospice yet? For those that don't know what hospice is pretty much, you know, that's when you're, coming to the end of your life. They put you on hospice and pretty much try to keep you as comfortable as possible with the pain management and shit like that. Nurses come check on you. I know they do it in your home. I don't know if there's a place where you go, but I know they do it in your home where they bring like a hospital bed here and they'll have like nurses come check on you and stuff like that. And it's just for people that are, close to dying. So, that my wife hearing that upsets my wife, knowing that that's where they're that's where they're at right now. Um, but the thing is my doctor, she doesn't see me going on that yet. What what the other people see is paperwork. They see all the chemotherapies that I've been on, all the treatments, the radiation, and they're only looking at paperwork. They don't know me. They don't see me. They know nothing about me. So what they see in paperwork is somebody that's dying. And that's exactly what the radiation doctor thought when he first saw me. He didn't know me. He just got my file and had an appointment made, and I went down there. And when I went there to the appointment, he said that he did not expect to see me. He expected to see somebody that was dying, that was really sick. And so that's why he was like, I know I can treat you with the radiation, a lot of radiation, because you still look strong and I think your body can deal with it. Well, he's like, I know your body can deal with it. So that's why we did radiation. Now they cannot do radiation no more. That's it. We've done the radiation that we can do, and there's no more. As far as the chemotherapy goes, we've went through all the chemotherapies, like 4 or 5 different ones. Immunotherapy, chemotherapy, all that shit. And they help, but it doesn't stop the stuff from spreading. They do help some, but it'll go somewhere else, so it still spreads. And that's what they see on paper, the insurance companies and all that. They see that I'm not being cured, and they see that I'm not going to be cured. So they're asking my doctor, like, why are you going to try to continue to treat him with different chemotherapies when, you start with these chemotherapy here, the best that you can give. Then it goes to the next one, the third one, the fourth one. And you want to continue to try to treat him. But the other one, the best of what we had does not help him. He still has cancer. It's still spreading and moving around. So what they're trying to give me now. Pretty much they're saying it's not going to do nothing for him. So why are you doing that? It's like more like stop with the chemotherapy, stop with the treatments, and put him on hospice because he doesn't have much time. When they put you on hospice, it's because you have like around 6 months or less, usually, um, to live. So, like I said, when they tell my wife yesterday, see, and this is the reason why I like to go to my appointments by myself because I don't like her to get upset when they say things to me because I'm personally, I don't get upset. I just like, okay, whatever, it's fine. But if she starts to cry, it makes me emotional because, I don't want to see her crying. And she, as soon as she hears that, um, they want to, they want to know why hasn't she not put me on hospice yet, the doctor, so it makes my wife emotional knowing that that's the way they're looking at it right now. And, so, sorry, I'm just fucking with these volumes because it's high in my ears. Um, so it makes her emotional, and I don't like to see her get upset. If it was just me, I'd be like, okay, whatever. I mean, I've already known this for a long time. I already knew this was going to happen. This is nothing new. This is not new news to me. Been knowing since the very beginning. With my cancer, if you catch it at an early stage, you have like a 47% chance of survival. If it's at early stage 1, stage 2, whatever. The earlier the stage, the more chance you have of survival. But once you get into stage 4 and the cancer's in your bloodstream, it goes down from 47% to 2%, which is not good. It's very rare for somebody to beat the kind of cancer that I have. So that's what people don't understand about cancer is that there's different forms of cancer, different stages of the cancer. It's not all the same. For people that always can say, always say, well, I know someone so they beat cancer. Well, what cancer did they have? What's the percentage rate of them beating that cancer? What stage of the cancer were they at? Could they have surgery to remove the cancer? All these things matter. I can't have surgery to remove the cancer because it's in my bloodstream. It's spread different places. There's no surgery for me. If it was stage 1, it was just in my esophagus, then I could have surgery. Then I have the, like I said, 47% chance of survival because I can have it removed. But I don't have that. Don't have that option. So people, that say things like that, you really need to stop and think about what you're saying and maybe learn about cancer before you open your mouth and say things when you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. But so she's saying, I'm going to do a peer to peer, which is, I guess, they're going to talk with each other, the two doctors, my doctor and the people that are dealing with my insurance and the chemo medicine and all that, to explain to them what you see on paper is not what comes here that I see. Because she's like, you still don't look sick. You still look healthy. You still look like you have a lot left in you that you can still continue, that we can continue with more treatment. We want to try more treatment because it's just like giving up right now. It's not, it's not the option right now because I'm not sick. Now, if I was sick and couldn't work no more and depending on people take care of me and shit like that and, shitting my pants, wearing diapers and stuff, well, then that's something different. I'm close to the end. But I still work. I went to the doctor appointment right after work. So, and I still look normal. I don't look like I'm sick and I have cancer. But if you look at what I am on paperwork, in the papers and the files, it looks like I'm close to death. And maybe I am. I just don't look that way. You know what I mean? But I mean, I know that I have less than a year to go. I know that. Is it 6 months? I don't know. Because she even kind of said something yesterday. She was like, usually it's going to be like 2 years or 2.5 years. He goes, and you're already at 2 years, aren't you? I said, yeah, I'm on 2 years. As of last month, I was at 2 years. He's like, okay. She goes, well, we can still, like, I can still try this other treatment. And it's not, so people understand, it's not doing these treatments to cure cancer. It's not going to get cured. So for people that believe that, stop believing it. It's not going to get cured. Your prayer's not helping. None of that shit's helping. I'm not going to get cured. That's it. There's no fucking miracle. Okay? It's just to give me a little bit more time. Maybe this other treatment will give me a couple more months. No treatment, I probably die within 6 months. If I don't get treated with anything from now on, I probably will die within 6 months. If I get some kind of treatment, then maybe I can last another year, up to another year. But with no treatment, it's probably like 6 months. So she's going to try to, convince them, like, look, let's treat him with this and see what happens. Just give him more time. But it's just knowing that, that the hospice shit, that they want to try to put me on that because they know that without treatment, I have like maybe 6 months to go. And so, I'm like, well, I'm not doing all that. I'm not going to hospice because I don't feel sick like that. Yeah, I feel tired. The other day I slept all day. I just couldn't do it. I went to sleep about 3:00. I didn't get up until like 2:30 in the morning when I had to go to work. That was Christmas Day. I slept most of the whole day. So yeah, I'm getting more and more tired. My breathing is a little bit different when I sleep at night. There's like a popping. It wakes me up. There's a popping in, but like it's kind of like the only way I can explain it is like pop rocks when I'm breathing. It sounds like there's like if I have pop rocks in my mouth, it's coming from my throat. It wakes me up. It's like that every night now. Or when I'm breathing, this just sounds like that. And if you look it up, you can look it up. Things that people go through when their body's starting to shut down. Because I know it is. I can feel it. I know my body, just like your body. I can feel it. But you can look it up. What's the signs that your body's shutting down? And those are some of the signs where you're very tired all the time. You want to sleep. Your breathing starts to change. Your skin will start to change. Your skin color will start to change. Sometimes your memory will start to get fucked up, And I have these things, I have a good memory, but then there's times where I just can't remember what the hell I did yesterday. I'm sitting there trying to think, like, what the hell did I do? Because my memory starts to fade away. But, this morning, my wife gets up and went to work at like 7:45. And so I was laying there and I said, you know what? I'm going to get up. I don't have to be at work today. I'm off today, tomorrow, and Sunday. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to fucking lay here. If I was like, for hospice, my ass. They're not putting me on hospice. I'm not going to just lay here in my bed and just dwell on this bullshit, I'm going to get up and do the things I got to go do. Like I always been doing. Like I've been doing. That's the reason why I think that I'm still here. And I'm not like a lot of these other people that you'll see on YouTube that are fighting cancer that look sick. And you can tell that they're approaching the end of their life. I don't look like that. I don't look like them. And I think that's the reason why. And I've been saying that for a long time. It's because my mindset, like, I just don't, it doesn't bother me. It don't bother me. I mean? The only time things bother me is when it bothers my wife. But if it's just me and I go to my doctor and I talk to her, I'm like, okay, whatever. So you got any questions? No, I don't care. Because there's nothing going to stop this fucking train that I'm on. You know what I mean? So I don't have all kinds of questions. My wife is the one who has all the questions, Shit, even yesterday, I could see that she was starting to get, not with the doctor, but with the nurse, she was kind of like getting a little bit loud. Not, not ghetto, but I could tell she wants answers. And I looked over at my wife and I told her, hey, like, relax, because it's not this person's fault that we're going through this shit as far as the insurance and pain medication and all that stuff like that. It's not this person's fault. So, it's like I just looked at her, like, relax. I don't want her to be getting all fucking ghetto and it's embarrassing to me, so I'm like, hey, calm down. But she wants answers. And me, I'm like, yeah, I want answers. You I ask you a question, you give me the fucking answer, that's it. But my wife is just, she wants more and more and more, If it's just me by myself, I ask a couple questions, that's it. There's no shedding tears, there's none of that shit. It's like, okay, I'll see you next time I see you. You know what I mean? I'm not concerned with it. And I told the doctor that yesterday. I'm not scared. I'm not concerned. It's her when she gets emotional. That's what bothers me because there's nothing that I can do about it. You know what I mean? There's nothing that I can do but try to just, comfort her and let her know, like, hey, don't worry about it. And that's what I told her yesterday when we were walking out of the doctor's office, because she's not sniveling, but, she's crying. And I said, why are you crying? I'm standing right here. I'm right here. I'm still here. I'm still alive. What are you crying for? Don't cry. There's no need for that because I'm still right here. You know what I mean? I woke up again this morning. I woke up this morning. I'm pretty sure I'll wake up tomorrow morning. And I'm pretty sure I'll be at work on Monday morning. You know what I mean? I deal with the pain. I deal with what I got to deal with. But, my whole thing is the hospice part. They're willing to already kind of like sweep me under the rug and be like, just put him on hospice, stop treating him, because there's nothing that we can do anymore. Because that's pretty much where it's at right now. My doctor's just trying to give me a little bit more time, but there's nothing they can do anymore. So it's kind of like up to me, do I even want to put myself through it? Well, I guess I would, if it can give me another month, maybe 2 months, then yeah, I guess I would do it. But I gotta weigh it all out, because you're gonna be sick. You know what I mean? You're gonna be sick and shit like that, and the side effects of everything, losing your hair and all that shit again. If it's only gonna give me a couple months, I don't know. I don't know. I have to see what they say. I'm gonna go back on Tuesday, and she's gonna let me know what the decision was. If they're gonna approve it for me to get more treatment of a different medication. It's a trial medication that they have, a new medication. And we'll see we'll see what happens on Tuesday. But as of right now, it's pretty much done. Um, there's no more treatment. There's no more radiation. Um, we're just gonna wait and see if they will approve at least one medication. There's a few medications that she wants that they'll use together, but they're not approving them. So she's like, well, can we approve one? And then we can approve another one. Then we'll approve it one by one, try to get them, single. Because they approved like 3 of them out of like 7. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they will give me a one of the medications and see what happens with it. If not, then it is what it is. I mean, because that's the way it is right now. I have nothing left. There's no more treatment as of right now. There's no more treatment. There's no more radiation. I'm just living, I don't want to say day by day. If I was really sick and I was in the bed all the time and throwing up blood and shit like that, then I'd say, I'm living day to day, but I don't live day to day. I still know I still have time. I think that I can. To be honest with you, I think I can go maybe another year. I think that I can. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, my goal right now is to go one more year to beat their odds that they had against me that I should have died within 4 to 6 months after being diagnosed. I should have been dead. Yet 2 years later, I'm still right here, still looking healthy. Yeah, I'm skinny. You can't really see. I mean, you can see that I'm skinny, but I'm a lot skinnier without these clothes on. I have my clothes are kind of big on me, but I'm really skinny. I weigh 185, and I'm 6'5", so I'm really skinny. But I don't look like a cancer patient would look, and so I think that with the way that I look and the way that I feel, even though I feel sick sometimes and I feel tired and feel pain, I think that I can go another year, maybe more. I don't know. But that's kind of like my goal right now is that I'm gonna go another year. And that's the reason why, like this morning, when I said "fuck that," I got up. I'm getting to get up. I'm not gonna lay here. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go to the market. I'm gonna go get my wife her coffee. I'm gonna do things that I've always been doing because this shit that they're saying that I should be on hospice now or suggesting to put me on hospice now. Like, nah, fuck that. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna be put on that hospice. Just continue to give me my pain medication. I can continue working as much as I can. And that's it until there's no more. But I'm not worried about it. There's other people are more worried about me than I am worried about myself. And that's like my wife, my father, my mother. They're more concerned with me than I'm concerned with myself. But it is what it is. We're all gonna die. What I mean? We're not gonna be here forever. And as soon as you can come to terms with that, I think that you can live your life to the fullest can when you can come to terms with you're gonna die. You're already dying. You just don't know it. And when I started these videos, it was to document my life, but also to bring awareness to people of getting themselves checked out. And some people have. There's a few people that have gotten themselves checked out, and one person that got themselves checked out, and they found they had something wrong with them, but it was curable. And so it's because they watched the videos and they were like, "Wow, you know what? Let me make an appointment just to make sure I'm okay." And yeah, there was something wrong with them. So hopefully, some of you listen. Some of you will listen and go and get yourselves checked out because this shit ain't no joke. What I mean, this is a very hard thing to deal with. Even though you see the way that I'm dealing with it and like, the way that I deal with it, um, that's what you see. Well, I can't even really say that because even my wife will tell you, I don't sit here sniveling and feeling bad about myself. I live my life as normal as I usually would. Um, Today, got my friend Bobby Locals going to come over here and visit me and hang out with me for a while. It's Friday. I got beer in the keg right there, in the kegerator. He's gonna come over and have some beers. I'm gonna make some pozole right now. I'm gonna go in the house in a minute and make some pozole, or start making it. And like I said, live my life as normal as possible because I'm not concerned like other people are. I'm not afraid, and when it happens, it happens. But this is just the update for you. This is right now as of yesterday. That's it. There's no more treatment for me unless they can convince them to treat me with some other medication, not to cure me, but just to give me a little bit more time. But as of yesterday, that's it. The treatments are done. There's no more radiation. There's no more chemotherapy. Um, I'm just I'm just here until it takes over. And but there is something that kind of gave me that I found out, and I'm gonna do another video about it probably today, or tomorrow. But it's a thing called death with dignity. California is a death with dignity state. So if you don't know what death with dignity state is, look it up. California is a death with dignity state, and I just found that out last week. So I'm gonna look into that. Well, I've been looking into it already. When I go see my doctor on Tuesday, see what happens there. See how much time she feels that I have left if there's no more treatment. If they denied it and said no, because it's not going to do nothing, it's not going to help him. Because sometimes the chemo will hurt you more than it will help you, and that's what they're looking at. It's not because it's like, no, it's not going to do nothing for him, because they're looking at it, it's like, wait a minute, this could hurt him more than it could help him. Like, there's a chemotherapy, they have not offered it to me yet, and I don't know if I would take it, but I can't remember the name of it. It starts with a D, but they call it the devil's blood or Satan's blood or the red devil, something like that. And it looks like red Kool-Aid. It's the most toxic shit they can give you as far as the chemotherapy. And they have not offered that to me. That, because that shit'll fuck you up. So chemotherapy can do worse to you than help you, So that's what they're looking at. So I'll find out Tuesday if they say no. If they say no, it's no. As of right now, it's no anyway. I don't have no treatment. It's been 3 months. Cancer doesn't stop spreading because I'm waiting on approvals. It keeps going and going and going. So yeah, it's spreading. And I'm going through more and more pain as time goes by because it's spreading. And so, that's just, that's what it is. But like I said, California is a death with dignity state. So you can look it up, death with dignity. When I talk to the doctor on Tuesday, find out what she says about the treatment. If the treatment is no, then I have to ask her, how much time do you think that I have left? Honestly, it's like, I'll be honest, don't fucking bullshit me here. Because I have to be approved through my doctor for this program. And again, I'll get into that in more detail in another video. But they gave me comfort when I found out about that last week. Because if I can get into that, if I can use that, then nobody has control. There's no God, no nothing has control over when I leave here. I have control over the day that I leave here, when I want to leave here. It's in my hands. I'm going to make the choice of when I'm going to die. Not the doctors, not no God, none of that. Me. But I have to talk to my doctor first on Tuesday to find out how much time she estimates that I have left. But there's other things that other criteria you have to follow, other things, not just that, but there's a couple other things. But I'm in all of them. When I read them, I'm in all of them, and I'll read them off when I do the video. I'll read them off what it is that you need to be able to qualify for death with dignity. And I qualify on all of them. So we'll see. But anyway, that's the update. I'll say it again for people that are going to get on here and say, hey, have you tried this? I'm not trying none of your weird shit. I'm not trying any of your weird fucking, whatever things you want me to try. I'm not trying it. So don't ask. Don't ask if I tried this, I tried that. I'm not trying it. I get kind of tired of hearing that shit. I'm not a fucking, if it's like, if I tell you, if you have a child maybe and your child has cancer and I go tell you, hey, well, I seen on fucking the internet that cat tranquilizers cure cancer. So why don't you go buy this cat tranquilizer and shoot your kid up with it? Would you do it? Probably not. You probably like, nah, I'm not fucking doing that. Go play with your own life. Don't play with mine. My shit's already on the line as it is right now. And then there's people that'll say, well, I'm pretty sure you're at the point where you're willing to try anything. So why don't you try this? Like, no, I'll never be at that point to try just anything. That's the stupidest shit you can say. It's like, what goes through your mind for you to come at somebody and tell them that, like, hey, are you at the point where you're willing to try anything? Because I heard about this. Like, no, go fucking play with your own life. Don't play with mine. Okay, so don't ask if I've tried this or if I'm willing to try this or I'm willing to try that. I'm not trying shit. If it's time for me to go, it's time for me to go, and that's it. I'm not trying nothing. I'm not even trying fucking prayer and going to church. So what makes you think I'm gonna try to shoot myself with some fucking cat tranquilizers? So please stop that bullshit. It's not gonna happen. Go fuck around with your own life. Don't play with mine. And for everybody else who's been watching and supporting me and stuff like that, I really appreciate it. Me and my wife appreciate it. I'm probably do a live video with my wife tomorrow. We're finally going to talk about, what was going on with my stepson and, what happened last month with the death of my stepson. And probably talk a little bit more about what's going on with me and how she's feeling about what's going on with me. And then look for the video. I'll be doing it probably today. If not, I'll do it tomorrow morning about the death with dignity. Because of myself, I plan on using that if I can. And so yeah, that's just the update. What's going on? I'm pretty much reaching the fucking end of things, but that's okay. I'm not gonna sit here and snivel about it. Just keep on going until I can't fucking go no more. But I still feel like inside, like, nah, I'm not just gonna lay down like that. I still got some time left. And it is what it is. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. And if you know anybody that's going through cancer or just found out they have cancer, send them over to my videos and, let them watch. Man, maybe they'll learn something. Like I said, first thing is come to terms with death and know that you're going to die no matter what you do. No matter if you have cancer, you don't have cancer, you're going to die either way it goes. So be comfortable with that. And if you're comfortable with that, then anything that comes your way, you'll be able to get through it. So thank you, and I'll be talking to you guys later.